Good morning, welcome to Morning Maths. This is day 1. You will just need a nice sharp pencil and a piece of paper, or if you're in school, the book that you're going to do your morning maths in, which has paper in it, doesn't it? So get your pencil and paper ready, so you're ready to go. What we'll be doing is some maths questions, and what I want you to do is copy what I do. I'm going to do all the workings and find the answers, and I want you to record the same as me. So copy down what I write. A few people who are very confident might go faster than me, and that is fine as well. They can look back and get the answers at the end. So how this works is Year 3 are going to do just the first 5 questions, questions 1 to 5. Year 4 will do the first 10 questions, so they'll do the Year 3 questions and the Year 4 questions. Year 5 will do questions 6 to 15, Year 4 and the Year 5. And Year 6 will do questions 11 to 20, the Year 5 questions and the Year 6 questions. But any child can go past their year group if they are very fast, although I would urge you to be careful with being very fast, because the most important thing in maths is to be accurate. So if you're very accurate and fast, you might get more done. You might go into the year groups above you. But most people, the best thing is work with me, record what I record. Let's get started. So these are the Year 3 questions. Year 3 are going to do these, and Year 4 are going to warm up on these. But Year 5 and 6, you'll be fast forwarding the video to a later point where you see me on the question number that applies to you. So I'm going to start with Year 3. This is the first day of the year, so I'm going to go quite slow. And as the videos move on throughout the year, they'll get quicker. So the first question is value of the 7 in 72. So the number 72. The question is, what's the value of the 7, this number, in 72? So I've drawn a picture of 72. You might remember these blocks that you've used before. So this is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each one of those blue ones is a 10. It's got 10 blocks inside it. Okay, so I can count in tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens was 70. And then we have 2 ones. Ones are also known as units. So we have 2 ones at the end. And that's the number 72 in pictures. So this is a picture of that number 72. But because it would take quite a long while to draw this picture, we have numbers instead, don't we? So it's a quick way of writing 72 instead of drawing all those blocks. Drawing might be fun, and sometimes we do it, but writing it is quicker, okay? So that's a picture of the number 72. As I said, it has those 7 tens, T for tens. So those 7 tens is these blue bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens. It's actually worth 70. And we have 2 ones. 1, 2. We have 2 ones as well. We put a U usually at St Helens for units, because units or ones is what we call this column, okay? So we have 2 columns in our number. We have the units column, which goes down here like this. Columns are things that go up and down. We have the units column, where we had 2. And we have the tens column, let's get this orange, where we had a 7. Now the tens column is much bigger than the units column, because look how many blocks are in here. The tens column is all of this. It'll take me quite a while to highlight it. All of this, a bit messy, but all of this is the tens column. There's loads and loads in there, because the tens column is bigger than the units column. You might say it's more important or more significant, the tens column. So that 7 is not just worth 7 little blocks, is it? It's actually got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 blocks. That 7 is worth 70. And literally it says 7T. That's why we call it 70, because it's 7T, 7 tens. So the question was, what's the value of the 7 in 72? And as I've just said, it is 7 tens. You don't have to do all the drawing and the highlighting. You would just write 72. I'll draw a little arrow to say it's worth 7 tens. In brackets, that is 70. That's what the 7 is worth without the 2. Value of the 7 in 72. Value of the 7 The answer is 7 tens in brackets 70. So you'll need to write down the bit I highlight in green. 7 tens green, 7 tens 70. That's the answer. And we'll move on to question 2. I don't normally do quite as much highlighting as I did on that question. Question 2 is simpler to do in a way. So let's write the question, everyone together. 5 plus 4. I'm going to do this on a number line. So make sure after the summer break, if it's just been the summer break for you, that you're good at counting. 5 plus 4. So this is a number line. Well, here is a number line. It's a line with numbers on it. That's what a number line is. And it goes from 0 all the way up to 10. Over here is a different number line. Looks a bit like your ruler, which you might well use now to help count in this question. So we're going to do 5 plus 4. So I find the 5, and I'm going to do plus 4, which means move on 4. You don't count the one you start on. That's the most important thing I could ever say about counting on like this. You don't count the one you start on. So I go 5, and I plus 1, gets me to 6. 2, 3, 4. I've gone forward 4 because that's what the question told me to do. It said go to 5 and then add 4. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, and the answer is 9. So you can use your ruler, which looks a lot like this number line. Find the numbers that look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. Your ruler is probably longer. And then you can count up the number line to solve these questions. Now, this is a very, very, very important skill for year 3s to get accurate and fast at counting on these number lines. So that's question 2. Make sure you've copied that down. Teacher can always pause the video, or if you're at home, you can always pause the video if you need time to record while I go on to question 3. Question 3 is similar, but it's a take away this time. 8, take away something. So when I take something away, how many you have goes down, doesn't it? So I'm going to go to 8, and I'm going to take away 1. So I don't count the 8, but I'm going to go down 1. Minus, take away, this sign is going to make you go down on your number line. So 8, I go down 1. Let's write the question. The answer is there, 7. 8, this is what you write. Take away 1 equals 7. So when we had a minus, we counted back on our number line. 8 take away 1 equals 7. So copy that down, and it's time for question 4. Question 4, 2 times 3. That means you've got 2, but you've got it 3 times. You've got 2, but you've got it 3 times. 2 times 3. I'll show you what I mean by that. 2 times 3. So I'm going to get 2 of these little purple shapes, circles. 2 of them, yeah? I'll bring them up here. So I've got 2, but the question says you've got 2, but you've got it 3 times. 2 times 3 means you've got 2, but you've got it 3 times. So I'm going to get the 2, and I'm going to copy it. On the computer I can do this and paste it. And I have another 2. So now I have 2, but I have it 2 times. That was 1 time. Oh, the top line is 1 time, and this line is 2 times. And then I'm going to get it again. Now I've got 2 3 times. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6. 6. Sorry, my colours sometimes are not the ones I meant. The answer is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Because I had 2 at the start. That was having 2 1 time. Then with this, I have 2 2 times. And with this, I have 2 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So you get 2, you have it 3 times, it is now 6. You're probably going to be learning a song about your 2 times tables, which starts off, is 2, is 4, is 6, and that's how you can sometimes get to these answers. Anyway, time for us to go to question 5. Question 5 is 4 divided by 2. Divide means sharing. Divide means sharing. So I'm going to get 4. Let's get some more circles going on. I'm going to get 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to share them, divide them by 2. I'm going to say I'm going to share them between 2 stick people. one here. They want some orange circles, and one over here also wants some orange circles. So I'm going to share these 4 orange circles out fairly. That's what dividing is, sharing. So the 4, I'm going to give one to them. Looks like a space hopper or something like that. One to them. I can give one to them and one to them. Let's write the question. The question was 4 divided by 2. So if I had 4, I've decided to call them space hoppers. If I had 4 of these orange space hoppers, I share them between 2 stick people, they get 1, 2. 1, 2. They get 2 each, don't they? Because 4 shared between 2 is 2. I'm sure you've probably had a situation where you had 4 sweets, you shared them out between you and someone else, 2 people, you would get 2 each if you shared them fairly. So that's question 5 done, and we'll move on to the year 4 level questions. So year 4 you were warming up on the year 3 questions. I know it was quite slow for some of you today, but don't worry, it will get faster. And in the future days I will pull this yellow block down faster so you can get going quicker. But on the first day I wanted to be very, very clear about everything I said. So I'm going to go to the year 4 level questions, starting on question 6. Year 5 are going to start here, so I'm actually going to pull this a bit down for the faster year 5s. But I do emphasise accuracy is the most important thing. Accuracy rather than speed. So make sure you're accurate. Anyway, year 4, question 6. The value of the 6 in 613. 613. What's the value of the 6? So I'm going to put my hats on. Units, tens and hundreds. What's the value of the 6? Oh, it's 600s. So the answer is, copy this down please, 600s. 600s. I have a new mouse. I'm not so good at writing with it. Hopefully I'll improve over the days. 600s. I'm going to move these out of the way now. 600s, and I'm also going to put in brackets the digit version of that, which is 600. In digits, a 3-digit number, 600. Okay, what's the value of the 6 in 613? Is 600s, in brackets, 600. And we move on to question 7. Question 7, in year 3, you learned the column method for addition. You might need to pause the video to give yourself time to copy this down. Try and keep up with your copying. This is the column method for addition, which you should have learned in year 3. 425 plus 371. Make sure you copy down the question right, or you can't get it right. That's one of the most common mistakes people make, not copying the question down correctly. So, 5 plus 1 is 6. You could do that on the number line even. 5, when you plus 1, you get yourself to 6. 2 plus 7. Let's start on 2, and we'll add 7. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I get to 9. And then we'll go from 4 up to 3. Start on 4, and we go 1, 2, 3, and we get to 7. 796. I know year 4s you're faster at counting than that. But on the first day, I'm taking it nice and slowly because most people are watching this after a big old summer break, perhaps even longer. I don't want to be rushing on the first day. I want to keep things very well explained. Let's move on to question 8. This is a takeaway now. 845. Going to take away. So we're going to make things get smaller. The 845 will get smaller. Careful with your lining up. Make sure you copy the question down correctly. 5 take away 3. 5 take away 1, 2, 3 is 2. Next one is 4 take away 3. 4 take away 1, 2, 3 is 1. This number line might be slightly different to your ruler because your ruler has a 0 on it. This one doesn't have a 0 on it. So that's why it might look a little bit different. All number lines look a little bit different. 8 take away 2. 8 take away 1, 2 is 6. We get 612. 845, take away 233. If you're a bit slow on the counting along a number line, counting on a ruler, practice that. Practice makes you better at everything. That's why we're doing this morning maths. It is practice. It will make you good. You just need to keep doing it. Let's move on to question 9. 23 multiplied by 5. So in year 3, if you were watching these videos when you were in year 3, I showed you different methods for multiplication. So one of them is when you're doing 23, you've got 23, but you've got it 5 times. It's like you've got 23 sweets in a packet, but you've got 5 packets. So you've got a lot of sweets then, haven't you? If you've got 23, but you've got it 5 times, you've got a lot of sweets. You can break it up into 20. Let's get the hats on. Units and tens, of course. 20 is 2 tens, isn't it? 20 times 5, I'll do in red. Breaking the question up into the tens and the units, both times 5. So 20 times 5 I write. And then I'll write in blue 3 times 5. Because the question is a little bit hard, 23 times 5, I've broken it up into 20 times 5 and 3 times 5. I'll do both of those and put the answer together at the end. So what is 20 times 5? Well, it's a lot like 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 2, is 4, is 6, and it's 8, and it's 10. That's 10. But there's a 0 in the question to place as well. So 20 times 5 is 100. Because 20 times 5 is not 10, is it? 20 times 5 is 100. And 3 times 5, if you know your 3s or your 5s, 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15 is 15. So I had 2 answers. I got 100 and 15. Guess what 100 plus 15 is? It's 115. If you need the column method to do the add-in, you add the 2 answers together at the end to get your final answer. It is 115. So 23 times 5, 115. Next I'm going to show you a different method for doing this, which is the grid method. It's very similar to what I just did, but the grid method is how in our school we are teaching year 3s to do multiplication with the grid method. So I get a little grid like this. This is what we call a grid. Put a little times in the corner on X. Some people say, that's a bit messy, isn't it? Put my times in the corner. So I get 23 times 5. So I break up the 23. I partition it into 20 and 3. Do you remember this from year 3? 20 and 3. And I times it by 5. This is very similar to what I just did with the method I used a minute ago. In this box goes 5 times 20. 5 times 2 is 10. Place a 0 from the question. 100. And this box over here is 5 times 3, because they both point towards that box. 5 times 3, 5, 10, 15 is 15. And just like the last method, I get 100 and I get 15. What's 100 plus 15? I'll do my addition down here. Of course it is 115. 100 plus 15. You can use column method if you need to, but I know the answer is going to be 115. So I'm just checking. 115. We've done 2 methods. Both times we got 115 because 23 times 5 equals 115. And that is the grid method for multiplication, which you'll be using for the next few months, year 4s, before you go on to learning new methods as well. Let's do question 10. 14 divided by 2. 14 divided by 2. Start pretty easy, year 3, with the first questions, the first lessons, well, the first morning maths, going to start pretty easy. 14 divided by 2, I'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blue circles. You could do this with counters on your desk if you need to. I'm going to share them between 2. So it's 14 divided by 2. 14 shared between 2. Let's say we want to share these 14 blue circles out between this stick person over here and this one down here. Division is sharing, and it's sharing things out fairly. So they get 1, they get 1. They get 1, they get 1. You keep it fair. They get 1, they get 1. They get 1, and they get 1. They get 1, they get 1. 1 for them, 1 for them, 1 for them, and 1 for them. So the question was 14 divided by 2. The answer is however many each stick person has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They both got 7. That worked nice and fair. 14 divided by 2 equals 7. Now I know at the end of year 3, you were doing more difficult, if you were watching the morning maths at the end of year 3, and if you were in school, you were doing more difficult methods than this, and of course we'll be moving on to those. But you know, this is the first day of the year. We're not making things too difficult on the first day of the year. Let's move on to question 11, the year 5 level questions. I'm going to take this box away for the year 5s who are going to go fast. Don't need this. Well, I'll keep that. I shouldn't say I don't need that. Some people will be using that and nothing wrong with that at all. Let's go on to question 11. In fact, sometimes I need the number line. The value of 3 in 3,284. Value of the 3. This is where year 5 start, of course. Their own level questions. They've been warming up on year 4. And this is where year 6 might be starting to warm themselves up for their year 6 work. Value of the 3 in 3,284. 3,284. You can hear it in what I'm saying. 3,284. Let's put what we call the hats on, or the caps, or the headers for the column, whatever your teacher might call them. The 3 is in the thousands column because it's worth 3 thousands. Here's the answer, which you should be recording 3 thousands. Okay, 3 thousands. The digit version of that is 3,000. If you want to know how many zeros on, one way of doing it is just writing it underneath. Copy the 3, fill in zeros to the end of the number, the end of the whole number. So we get 3,000. But the answer is 3,000s in brackets 3,000. Two different ways of writing it. That was question 11. On to question 12. Pause the video at any point or rewind the video if you need to see something for longer. Question 12, column addition. So here we are with, this is year 4 level column addition. This is what we wanted people to do at the end of year 4. And obviously on the first day in year 5, this is where we want you to be back to, perhaps after a summer holiday. The idea is you're watching this video after the summer holiday, and we need you back really where you were at the end of year 4. We need you doing the year 4 level work after perhaps not doing anything for a while, and then we'll move you on to year 5 level work and some of you beyond. So 2,864 plus 1,135. So you can use a number line if you need to do your add-in. 4 plus 5, 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 9. Some people are very quick at adding numbers on a number line like this. 6 plus 3, 6 plus 1, 2, 3 is 9. Next we have 8 plus 1. 8, don't count the one you start on, plus 1 is 9. Oh, it's all 9s. And over here is 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3,999. That's strange because I didn't even plan that answer. That's quite an unusual number, 3,999. It's got 3 9s in it. Let's move on to question 13. Pause the video if you need more time to record. Not record. Oh, yes, record, which means write down. Time for question 13. Now on a minus. Got a little bit of vocabulary here. Minus just means take away, doesn't it? This sign normally, take away. So the biggest number goes at the top, 3,759. 3,759. Take away 2,516. Biggest number at the top, it is. 9 take away 6. 9 take away 6. 9 take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is just 3. 5 take away 1. That's going to be 4, isn't it? 7 take away 5. 7 take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 2. And 3 take away 2 is, of course, 1. We get 1,243. That looks right to me. Quick check over it. I want to be 100% accurate because, to be honest, otherwise I have to make the video again if I get some of my workings wrong, and I don't want to have to make every video again. So I need to be 100% accurate. And you, if you're doing tests or whatever you're doing in your life with maths, you want to be 100% accurate. That's what you should be aiming for. If you're really good at maths, if you know you're one of the best at maths, there's no excuse for not getting 100%. It means you didn't check hard enough. I'm only talking to the very best people here. But 100% should be your aim every day. Anyway, 342 times 5. So in year 4 you were using this column method, standard method for multiplication. Sorry, did I say in year 4? In year 4 this is a method you were using by the end of year 4. Some of you are still using the grid method. That's completely fine, and you can use the grid method forever if that's the one you prefer and you're getting things right. Nothing wrong with that at all. But I'm going to do the standard method. I'll probably do the grid method as well, seeing as it's the first day. So 5 times 2 is 10. That's what we do. We do 5 times 2 and it's 10. 5, 10. Remember your times table songs. 5 times 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. Plus little 1, 21. 5 times 3, 5, 10, 15. Plus little 2, 16, 17. 1,710. I'll tell you why I'm definitely going to do the grid method as well, because it gives me a lovely double check of what I've done. If you're really fast, you might have time to do both methods. I wouldn't normally advise that, except to really fast people. Doing both methods give you a check. So the grid method, in case you haven't done this for a while, 342 becomes 340. We're partitioning it here, which means breaking it up into equal, well not equal parts in this case, but breaking it up into its parts. And 2. 342. 342 becomes 342. Timesing it all by 5, multiplying it all by 5, I should say. So, 5 times 3, or 5 times 300 is going to go in here. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 300 is not 15. You've got to place these two zeros and you get 1,500. In this part, it's 5 times 40. 5 times 4 is 20. And place this 0 from the question, 200. And over here is 5 times 2, which is of course 10. So we have 3 answers. We have to add them up at the end. And I'm hoping when I add them up, and actually I can see that it's going to work, it's going to be 1,710. So you do this in 3 parts really. Each of these boxes is a part of the answer. Add them up at the end. You can see my answer is going to be 1,710. So having used both methods, I'm very confident that I'm correct. I don't mind which method you use. Your teachers might have a preference, but really you should be able to use whichever method you like, as long as you're getting things correct. If you're getting them correct, it means your method is a good method. If you're getting them wrong, you might want to try a different method. Let's go to question 15. So, Mouse does the odd strange thing here. It's mostly okay. 963 divided by 3. 963 divided by 3. You were using the bus stop in year 4, the bus stop method we call this for division, because it looks a little bit like a bus stop with the 9 and the 6 and the 3, the 900 and the 6 tens and the 3 ones or units sheltering from the rain under that bus stop if it's raining. So we do 963 divided by 3 because it's quite a big number. We usually use a bus stop for things like this. So how many 3's fit into 9, we say? 3, 6, 9. I sing my 3's but I don't go past 9. And then I count on my fingers usually and see how many fingers I'm showing. 3, 6, 9 was 3. 3 fits into 9 3 times. How many times does 3 fit into 6? 3, 6. My fingers said it was 2. How many times does 3 fit into 3? 3, just 1. The answer is 321. And we're on the year 6 level work. The hardest level, of course. Value of the 2 in 42,783. They want the value of the 2. Right, it's not units, it's not tens, it's not hundreds. It's actually thousands. You probably remember the next column would be called tens of thousands. But we want the thousands column, thousands column. Is 2,000, the answer is. What's the value of the 2? Is 2,000. So I'll write it with the word 1,000, 2,000s. 2,000s, which is worth 2,000 in digits. And there's our answer. And we're on question 17. As I've said a few times, morning maths will get faster each day. But I'm taking it nice and slow on the first day. That's why it's a very long video on the first day. And I'll gradually get quicker as we go on. People get more used to what we're doing. It might be quite tough just to be back at school, so we don't want to start too difficult. So 8,487 plus 2,715. Okay, 7 plus 5. Now, my number line's not big enough to do that, but year 6, you're usually not using number lines that much anymore. Although if that's the way you do it, that's fine. So 7 plus 5 is 12. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus another 1 is 10. 4 plus 7 is 11, plus 1 is 12. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. If I'm going a bit fast, you can pause your video to catch up. But you're year 6, so I think you know how to do this column addition now. Let's move on to question 18. Maybe you're not year 6, maybe you're just a really fast year 5. Hope you're accurate as well. Accuracy is more important than speed. 74,832 minus 3,872. Remember, you line up down the right. You line up down here, whole numbers. So make sure your line up's correct. There's lots of numbers to copy, so make sure you copied them correctly. This is minus. Make sure you do the right sign. I've just reeled off about 3 very common mistakes in maths. 2 take away 2 is 0. 3 take away 7 we can't do. So we get some help from the 8. Which goes down to a 7, brings 1 over here. 13 take away 7 is 6. 7 take away 8, again we can't do. Get some help from the 4, goes down to a 3, bring 1 over here. 17 take away 8 is 9. 3 take away 3 is 0. 7. That wasn't the easiest of takeaways actually for the first day in year 6. So it was 74,832. We took something away and it went down to 70,960 because minus makes things smaller. Let's move on to question 19. It's multiplication. I know most children in year 6 use standard method, which is this. You could of course use grid method as long as it works for you. 783 times 5. So I do 5 times 3 is 15. Make sure you're keeping up. 5 times 8. Let's sing that one. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That's 40. Plus the little 1 is 41. Then we do 5 times 7. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. We've got 35. We've got to add 4 ones. So it goes 36, 37, 38, 39. If you're a little bit rusty with your maths or some of these things you're not too sure of, don't worry because we're going to do this a lot of times during the week, at least 3 times a week. And we're just going to continue to do it week after week after week and you'll start to get this stuff. It's just practice that you need. If you don't think you're good at maths, it's because you haven't had enough practice. So we'll get more practice. Let's go on to question 20. This is divide. In year 6, we're using the bus stop for division. 3,425 divided by 5. It will divide by 5 because it ends in a 5. So we say, how many 5s in 3? 0, because 5 is too big to fit into 3. Carry the 3. How many 5s in 34? So I'll sing my 5s, but I mustn't go past 34. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I went too far. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Count up to 30, and that was 6 fingers that I counted on. I counted up to 30, but that says 34, which means there's 4 that I didn't use, which gets carried on. How many 5s in 42? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 8 fingers got me up to 40, so I write the 8, and I just remember that I sang up to 40, but that's 42. So there was a 2 I didn't use. And this will work. How many 5s in 25? You probably know. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. The answer was 5. My fingers told me it was 5. And 685 is what we get. Okay, there's all the questions finished. Let's look on the next page for the answers. So you can mark all of your work, whatever year group you're in. Your teacher might fast forward to here to get the answers. You might well need to pause the video. So pause the video so you or everyone in the class can get their answers. And I'll see you again for day 2. This will be the longest video of the year. It'll get quicker from now. Thanks for listening. See you next time.